Come on. Hello, boys and girls, and welcome back to another episode of the Scarfy Spurs Talk weekly podcast. You have to bear with me because, I'm pretty much losing my voice at the moment, but it's still going to be an excellent show. The show must go on, as they say. And today I am meant to be joined by 4, but at the moment currently joined by 3 fabulous guests. Firstly, Pav from Paxton Road TV. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
No, very good, thank you. It's great to have you on once again. I mean, it's good being top of the league, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing. Buzzing going into international break at the top.
Absolutely. 2 weeks of bragging rights as well. Marlon, I was on a view from the South Stand of South View Coys with you yesterday. How you doing?
I'm still upset with you. Still upset.
What have I done now?
You and Harry both upset me still. I'm not
That's what's happened. We have quality guests, you see. Different opinions. But yeah, Haz is meant to be joining, but yeah, you can tell him off when he gets here because he is late. Chris, welcome back on the show. I think it's second time, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me on. And always good being top of the league and Arsenal fans saying that we've only beaten terrible teams, so it's nice they're admitting their team is terrible as well.
Very true. That is actually a positive. I never thought of looking at it that way, but it's a really good one. But before we crack straight into it, I just got a very quick sponsorship message for our new partners, Security VPN, because we secured a long-term partnership in the week that benefits viewers and listeners. I'm going to try and get through this with a croaky voice, so bear with me. So here's a sponsorship message. Now, while we love diving into action on the pitch, today we're stepping off the field for a second to talk about a game changer in online security, which is our new partners, Security VPN. You guys know how critical it is to stay safe online these days, especially when you're streaming matches, getting into online forums, or even doing a bit of sports betting. That's why we partnered with Security VPN, the ultimate money-saving tool for cyber safety. You wouldn't play football without your shin pads, right? Well, Security VPN is like the ultimate defense for your online life. Let's just say Security VPN lets you navigate the online world with the same confidence as James Maddison on the ball. Stick around to find out how you can get exclusive discount only for dedicated viewers. So massive shout out to Security VPN. Late, but better late than never. How you doing?
Hey, you're right.
You're good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Oh, good. Fantastic stuff. A reminder, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to smash the subscribe button because it is free to do so, and it does help the channel and the podcast grow. If you are listening on any other podcast platforms, such as Spotify, Amazon Music, etc., don't forget to give us a follow and 5-star review. That'd be massively appreciated. We've just gone on Amazon Music. So without further ado, let's crack straight into it. And I want to come to you first, Pav. Thinking before the game, before the Luton win, what were your thoughts on the lineup when it came out? Because obviously you had Lo Celso and Gil return to the bench. Was there any surprises in there for you?
No surprises, to be honest. No. I was actually quite happy. I walked into that game trying to think very positive. I mean, with Spurs, it's very unpredictable. With away wins, we can't predict what the hell's going to happen. But I walked in with a positive mindset and I said, you know what, I'm going to think positive. It's Ange ball. I reckon we're going to win. So I was happy with the lineup going in. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Pav. Chris, what do you make of the lineup beforehand? Any surprises in there for you? Any positives, negatives?
Only surprise really was, it's not really a surprise, but Son was playing because I'd already picked up an injury, and surely we've learned our lesson from that from previous seasons. Certainly now that we don't have Europe, so they've got an extra few days to rest. But obviously he wasn't injured or he was past fit or whatever. But yeah, good to see Hill on the bench. I thought he was out long term, so that was a surprise. Well, unlike Pav, I thought we'd win, but I think Luton will get a big scalp at home at some point this season. And then I've been trained for 30 plus years as a Spurs fan to be worried and negative. So I was just hoping it wasn't going to be us, which it hasn't been, thankfully. But I do think they'll get a big scalp, and they showed certain signs that they can score goals, just a little bit more care. But we'll obviously get into the game a bit later on. But yeah, I thought we'd win, but I was in the back of my mind, oh dear. But yeah, no real surprises in the lineup for me.
I mean, I don't think you're a Spurs fan if you're not what you feel confident going into Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United, but you're worried about Luton away. I think that's something we're used to over the years. But we got the news that us Spurs fans didn't want to hear today, and that is that Son won't be rested or dropped or rotated during the international break. So that is a slight worry. I mean, it was the first one apparently as well to leave the international break, but has come into you. I mean, obviously we briefly spoke about it yesterday. But maybe your thoughts have changed in a day. What are your thoughts on the lineup? Any surprises in there for you? Because Guy was back on the bench, Gil was back on the bench, Lo Celso back on the bench. Any surprises for you?
Well, he was never going to change it. Let's be honest. I think with these types of managers like Ange, they tend to not change the team if the team's winning or getting results. So unless we get a loss, I can't see him changing the lineup unless he's forced to. Especially with playing one game a week. Now, I was on the Hotspur Hood last night, so I'm going to stick by what I said on there. I would have used the Luton game as an experiment to maybe try Kulusevski in the middle to see how he does, because there's a chance that Maddison might get injured at some point. So we're going to need to have a backup plan or something different. And Luton would have been a good game, I think, to try it out. And also maybe, considering we're playing a low block, playing Richarlison in the middle might be not been a bad idea. But yeah, that's just me. But I think it was as predicted because he wasn't going to change it. So yeah.
Yeah, very good point. Good point. Thank you, Hans. That's what you would do, Marlon. Is already laughing. So coming to you, Marlon, would you have changed the lineup? What were your thoughts before the game? Would you agree with Has? Perhaps would have experimented something with Kulusevski, or is it just not the right game for you?
You can't experiment right now. It's all working. I get what he means. I get completely what he means. But as Chris has said, we were a bit worried. Every Spurs fan in the back of their mind was worried that Luton are going to get a scalp at some point. So you go out with your best team and experiment later. But you could have experimented, but we'll get into the game to why he couldn't experiment in the end because of one person. But we'll get into that. He could have had his way. He could have had his way, Has. He could have had his way. But somebody let him down.
Okay, fair enough.
I hope you're talking about Basuma, but anyway.
But going back to the team is exactly how I expected it. You were not going to change from Liverpool, and he had no choice. He had no choice. It was literally that was his 11. No one else was going to come in unless they were injured.
Yeah, and the way I look at it is why you change it a winning formula that it's got you through the early parts of the season and pre-season already. Moving on to Basuma, because that is a big talking point. Obviously, him getting sent off and missing the Fulham game. So yeah, I want to come back to you. Just 2 moments of stupidity. Do you think from Basuma? What's he thinking?
Well, besides the dive, I do think a red card to Basuma was going to happen eventually. I'm not saying he didn't deserve to be sent off or anything like that. He fully deserves to be sent off. That was a blatant dive. And I think they should be reprimanded for dives even more nowadays because it's just such a common thing. And if we're going to kick out the game, you're going to have to just give more bans, I think, or longer bans, to kick it out. And it quite surprised me that he did that because Basuma this season has, on the whole, been really good. And I didn't think that was in his character. I know any Brighton fans, so I don't know. I can't say, whether he did anything like that at Brighton. But from what I've seen, I don't think he would do anything like that, which quite surprised me. But in terms of his fouls and stuff, I think it was a red card was going to happen eventually in that sense. But I don't know what he was thinking diving there, to be quite honest.
No, nor do I, to be fair. But I'd love to get inside his head at that moment in time. But yeah, Chris, what do you make of that from Basuma? It's obviously the first one, isn't it? It's for a foul. Obviously, you make a mistake. For me, anyway, you may disagree, but it's a needless foul. And then maybe for me, trying to make up for it, I think he realises he's taken one too many touches. He's bumped into a load of Luton players, can't go anywhere, and has tried to win the free kick without any contact at all. So yeah, what do you make of it, Chris? Has Basuma lost his head there? Do you reckon he can learn from that?
Well, I think you're being kind to him. I think he's a disgrace. It's blatant cheating. Like Has said, there's got to be more reprimands and you've got to have deterrence for these things. They want to kick it out. 5-game ban standard. They've got the technology now with VAR. It's a blatant dive.
Wow.
The second replay was even worse than the first one. The first one was terrible. Give them a 5-game ban. I don't really care if they play for Tottenham or someone else. It's blatant cheating. And the first yellow card was probably a bit of a professional foul. He'd got round him and then stopped him. That happens in the game. That's fine. It was tight in the game. But yeah, I mean, don't give a yellow card for diving anymore. Give a straight red 5-game ban done. That will kick it out of the game. Match of the day didn't even mention it. They've been saying that they want to kick it out of the game. They don't even mention it. They gloss over it, and it's just blatant cheating. And this is a guy who Ange put his faith in as a senior member of the team, and then he let him down once by being late. He had a word with him and he wasn't late again. Now he's let him down again by diving and blatantly cheating, and it could have really cost us in a game there. It didn't, thankfully, but it could have really, really cost us. And yeah, I'm pretty angry with him. In terms of dropping him, I don't think you can drop him because Skip, Højbjerg aren't as good as Basuma there. But Ange has got to have a word with him, and he's got to be pretty disgusted with himself as well. And hopefully the players, the other senior players there, have had a word with him as well. But yeah, in terms of you saying as he lost his head, I think you're being a bit too kind to him. I think he's just a disgrace. Knew exactly what he was doing, trying to con the referee. And like Has said, 5-game ban for anyone diving. You've got the technology now. But it'll never happen. It'll never happen. But
I think what baffled me the most, Chris, is that we've got VAR. So it's like, why are you doing it? I just don't understand.
I don't know, because in the Arsenal City game, the commentator, I don't know who it was on the second Kovacic yellow card, said VAR can't look at it because it's a second yellow. It's not a red card decision. It's just maybe he thought, VAR don't know their arse from their backside from their elbow, so maybe they won't even look at this one. But
maybe not.
Just disgraceful. Luckily, it didn't cost us, but if it happens another day, it will cost us.
Exactly. I mean, he's a lucky boy that it didn't cost us. We will get on to good point. We'll get on to the new director of football towards the end of the show. So it was confirmed today. But Pav, I want to come to you next. Yeah, what do you make of that? Obviously, you've had the boys briefly touch on it. What do you make of it? Do you think Basuma's lost his head there? And is he lucky that it didn't cost us?
No, yeah, definitely. Do you know what? Like Chris and Has said, I'm really annoyed at him because I expected that, do you know what, at some point he was going to get a red anyway. And the fact that he was given a yellow for the challenge that he done first, and then to do that pointless dive and just think that it's okay, it's just stupidity. Like, why would you do that? You're already on yellow. You're bound to get a red. And the fact that he's done that, it's like as if he wanted to get sent off. And I just think, what's the point in the end? And I had a feeling anyway that Ange would play him. Like I think Chris said, the other players aren't as good as him anyway. But I just think you're being careless. You know that if you get one more yellow, you're going to get a red. And then he gets the yellow already. And then he gets the red after for diving, which is so stupid. Why would you do that? I just don't get it.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with you. And I know many others will as well, Pav. But Marlon, I want to know your thoughts on this, because we discussed yesterday. I can't remember if you gave your opinion or not on Basuma's 2 yellow cards, which resulted in a red. So, yeah, give me your thoughts on that.
It is what it is. He's done it. He'll learn from it. Move on. And that's it. He'll learn from it. Like, Ange was fuming. He hasn't he's let the team down. He knows he's let the team down. If it wasn't for VDV and Maddison, it's one of those. Diving, he's not going to be the last. He won't. He's not going to, right? But what I want to give credit for is, and no one's actually giving credit, the referee actually saw it and actually gave a yellow for all the stuff that happened last week. Decision. The referee at our game was faultless. He had a good game, right? He got the Basuma one spot on. But no one will praise him for that. No one will praise him for what he did. And I think after the week they've had, they need it. So for me, Basuma will learn from it. He knows he can't do it again. Ange won't take it again. But he's been one of our best players, unfortunately. So what do you do?
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem we've got right now. You can sit and give him a 5-game ban, but that's only going to hinder us. So you got to hope now that Ange has got in his ear, which he will have done, right? And if he does it again, then you go for the 5-game ban. Go, you know what? You're not learning. You're not listening to the manager. Go away. But he's let's see what happens going forward.
Yeah.
Do you guys think? I let Chris speak first. Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say, I think if you want to kick diving out, you've got to have the deterrent there. You can't just.
I get, yeah, but
the game ban because we need him in our games.
But the deterrent is there.
Ban for everybody, anyone who dives.
But the deterrent is there because he's now banned. No matter how we look at it, he's now got that ban, and he's going to miss.
Players will take. Okay, I'm only banned for one game. I'll take that. Take one for the team. Give a 5-game ban. That's really going to hinder a team. And if it's a top player like Salah for Liverpool, if he does it, 5-game ban for Liverpool, he's their main man.
But the problem we've got, Chris,
there's no deterrent at the moment. So
players
get a 1-game ban, no biggie.
Salah dives all the time, right? And how many penalties does he win? He wins most of the points for his team, right? So, and it's not classed as a dive, but we all can see it's a dive. So it's down to the refs, right? At the end of the day, to stamp it out, to get the bookings. They know it's a booking, right? But at the end of the day, it's just modern day football. And a lot of the time, players are saying they're getting caught and nothing's happening. So some of them will take the dive because if they don't show that they got caught, the referee's not going to give it. So for me personally, I think, first of all, sort out the refereeing in the game. And I think that will stop a lot of the diving because players will feel like they don't have to go down. Thierry Henry said it years ago, right? How many times he used to get caught and he got nothing. He got absolutely nothing in the Premier League. In the end, he had to start diving because that was the only way he'd get anything. Didier Drogba, when he first came in, how many times did he dive?
Yeah,
and then he stopped and stayed on his foot. But he does. It does because the referees are so good.
Let's let Haz chip in on this. Go on, Haz.
I was going to say a couple of things. So first of all, a lot of players nowadays, I've noticed, they'll go down and try and get hit to try and get a penalty or something. So it's become like a tactic, if I want to use that word. You see, even I go back to, I hate to bring this up, but Harry Kane was class at this. He used to go down in the box. If you look at one example off the top of my head was when we beat Chelsea 5-3 all those years ago. I think his penalty, he literally dives onto the player's foot to get the penalty. So you see these players going down, trying to get like a touch, because nowadays any sort of touch in the box is like deemed a penalty almost. So it's like tactical almost.
Yeah.
But obviously, where Basuma was on the pitch, it doesn't make sense anyway, tactically.
It makes sense. But it made a little bit of sense because he wanted a free kick. He wanted Madders to take a free kick because, let's be honest, he couldn't rely on that front three to score a goal, any of them. So why is he going? That's why he's
very true. I think
also, do you think that Basuma, because obviously everyone's praised him online, I hate to use this phrase, but do you think he's got too big for his boots? Is that why he's done something like that?
I don't know.
No,
to me, it was very like, I didn't expect it. Like, I'm with Pav. Like, I thought he was going to get a red eventually, but I didn't expect it to be in that way.
Good point. I think that diving is a conversation that we could spend a whole show on. So maybe during the international break, I should dedicate a whole show towards diving. But we are going to move on now. So Pav, I want to come back to you. So 0-0 at half time. Really, really frustrating first half. Created lots of chances. Could have easily been 3-4, maybe more 0 up. Really frustrating. Topped off by obviously that Basuma red card. So what do you make of the first half? I thought it was really frustrating.
I agree with you. I was genuinely frustrated because we had a lot of chances, and to be honest, it's not like we weren't playing great, because we were, right? And I think it's frustrating with the amount of chances that we had, that we could have at least got maybe a goal or two in. But second half, we were much better. I didn't watch it, so I listened to it because I was on the road. So I just looked back at the highlights after, so I didn't get to watch it, right? But looking back, I can see that we played really, really well in the second half in comparison to the first half.
Yeah, we certainly did. Spot on, Pav. Haz, coming back to you. Yeah, what do you make of that first 45 minutes? Was it a frustrating one for you?
It was very stressful, put it that way.
Oh, that's a joke.
we like shot ourselves in the foot with the Basuma thing. So by the end of the half, and obviously I was very happy that we started quickly for once, because all the last 7 games we started slowly and we had to grow into the game. So And you could say it was expected because we were playing Luton, so you'd expect us to come out and try and batter them. But obviously, once the red card happened, the game completely changed on its head. Obviously, he didn't make the change to half-time, bring on Højbjerg for Richarlison, so we were getting overrun a bit in midfield. And I don't know, the first half wasn't nice to watch, but so it was just a mixed bag, really. I think the first half.
Okay, fair enough. There you go. Yeah, Chris, coming back to you, what do you make of that first 45 minutes? Because we haven't touched on it. I've touched on it with a couple of guys here, but yeah, what do you make of it? Frustrating for you? And do you think we were unlucky not to be ahead at the break?
Well, the first 10 minutes, the game should have been over. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was going to be one of those games, have all these chances, Spur all these chances, and then we end up conceding a silly goal. We did concede a silly goal. Thankfully, there was a push in there. It wasn't great defending from, I think it was Udogie on the post. But yeah, I mean, I think it's probably better in the way that it happened. Not the red card stuff, we've talked about that, but in terms of having to grind it out at the end, I think Postecoglou has learned a lot more about his team than if we'd have just battered Luton 4-5-0 and a really comfortable, easy victory. And now everyone is talking about us. Oh, I'm surprised by this Spurs team, because we'd have lost that game last year. Even if we had 11 on the pitch, we'd have lost that game last year. So I think it's probably better. And we saw the reaction of Romero, and in particular in the final clearance last second, cheering everything. And it's like they believe they can go on and win a title. Postecoglou believes they can go on and win a title. And I think you need games like that if you're going to achieve anything, even if you're going to achieve top four. But yeah, Richarlison's not helping himself. Although there was a pull on his shirt for the first chance, apparently, which I didn't see. But the second one, should have scored that. But he needs to get a goal, Richarlison, and that was a perfect game to get a goal. Whether he would have done in the second half if we'd have had 11 versus 11. But yeah, like Has said, starting off quickly, how many times have we been on these shows and talking about a game and go, it'd be nice to start a game before half hour is gone. So the first 10 minutes, there was only one way the game was going to go. But I think Luton were completely overawed. We're the first big team that have gone there this season, and they looked really not nervous, but wow, this is Tottenham. Not blowing our own trumpet, but we are a big team compared to what Luton are playing. And then they got a hang of the game. And if we'd have got those 3 goals, then the game would have been over. But like I say, I think it was probably best the way it did happen, because Postecoglou's learned a lot more about his team than if we'd have had a row.
Yeah, very fair enough. And we will definitely get on to Richarlison. I think that is one that some of us are looking forward to. I think it has to be discussed as well. I have my own views that we shared later on in today's episode. But Marlon, coming to you, and I know you're looking forward to that Richarlison discussion later, let's be honest. But yeah, what do you make of that first 45 minutes?
Probably the best we've played all season. Apart from that part where, as what Chris said, was the bit where we made a mistake. If we finished our chances, let's be honest, it would have been a cricket score. It would have been absolutely humiliating for Luton. They were so bad in that first half. And it was only down to the lack of finishing, where if you actually think that we create chances, we did everything right. Luton should have been out of that game, if we're all being honest, right?
Yeah, 100%.
But we'll all look back at the first 45 minutes because we didn't score, and we'll be, it was nervous. But it was nervous because we just couldn't score. That was the only thing. But if you look at the football we played and the way we controlled it, it was an absolutely. That's probably one of the best 45 minutes I've seen probably this season. If we're being apart from the finishing, right?
Yeah,
we controlled the whole game. Not the whole game, the whole half. We literally did not let them in our box. We were literally, Luton couldn't get anywhere near us. I think Rob Edwards was shouting instructions left, right, and centre. And on TNT Sports at the time, they were saying some of the words that were coming, they couldn't repeat it. But he was so frustrated because he set his team out and they just couldn't get anywhere near us.
Yeah.
But the problem was, again, we'll go into it, but the front three just let us down on the day, right? With their finishing. And not just the front three, everyone had let us down on the day, right? Some more than others. But when you look at the second half, that's when Luton had their chances, right? And actually, when it came down to it, it was actually only one person had finished it off. And that's the reason why we won it in the end. Because Luton had 2 or 3 chances in that second half, better finishes, it would have been tough for us. It would have been probably expected, and Basuma would have been looking at this Basuma guy, and you're an absolute and we didn't get away with it. But as Chris said,
Yeah.
we dug deep. Spurs from last year would have lost it. We got away with it.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a game that we would have 100% lost last season.
Do you guys think that Luton will look at this game and think this was their chance to beat a top 6 side?
Well, you're playing against 10.
Nah, they'll play Arsenal.
10 men.
This is probably their best chance playing against 10 men.
Yeah, I think they'd be disappointed they came out the game with nothing because 10 men. It was a perfect opportunity for them. But for Chris, coming to you, I want to focus on the goal now from, believe it or not, Mickey van der Ven. Corner came in from Maddison, tried something different because he had 3 or 4 in a row unsuccessful corners, took the short corner, Maddison drop of the shoulder, keeps it in really nice and neat, and Van der Ven with a perfect, calm, cool, composed finish in the bottom left-hand corner. So what do you make of the goal?
Well, I was slightly annoyed because I put Van der Ven on my bench on Fantasy Football and everyone played, so I didn't get the 15 points. But other than that, I'm not that bothered. It was from Maddison's point of view, it was almost a carbon copy of the first goal against Arsenal. The guy turn him. So I think that's something they've been working on. So when Maddison does that, make some movements, make a run, get some space. The finish was unbelievable for a defender. He could have easily taken it with the fight, but couldn't he? But let it roll across him and then put it in. I do think the keeper will look at himself and go, that was fairly poor, but again, who cares? But yeah, and
a goal's a goal.
I think Maddison's been working on that, and it's good that we've got now variation in corner takers as well. And Kulusevski played his part. I think Kulusevski out the front 3, he missed a chance, but it was a brilliant save in the first half. So I really like Kulusevski, and going slightly off topic, but I think he's quite underrated. He scored a couple of goals. The Richarlison first chance was a brilliant cross from him. The shot in the and he was always a threat in that game, certainly in that second half. And Van der Ven. I mean, I know there was a question that came on Twitter for you about Van der Ven. How do you rate his start? But brilliant finish, and it looks very quickly that Romero and Van der Ven have formed a really good partnership. I'm slightly worried if one of them gets injured quite seriously, because I'd rather play with 10 men and have Dyer with one of them. But hopefully that doesn't come to that. But in terms of goal, I think Maddison's been working on that. The team know he's been working on that. That's something they're going to work on if corners into the box straight away don't work.
Yeah.
And then, Maddison's done that. He's likely to skin his man, find some space.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. It's spot on. Pav, I want to come to you next. So what do you make of that goal? I mean, do you agree with Chris in terms of it was a really good finish for a defender?
Yeah, I think Chris is spot on with everything he said, to be honest. That goal was wicked. And I think Mickey van der Ven, he deserved that goal. First Prem goal for us. And obviously Madders all round just amazing with getting these assists. And you can tell that he's been obviously practicing it, and he's great with his corner taking as well. So hopefully that is continuing. So, yeah.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And by the way, Chris did mention Kulusevski. Someone mentioned Richarlison earlier. These will be players that we will individually review their performance and their season so far towards the end of the episode, trust me. Has, what do you make of the goal? We briefly touched on it, didn't we, yesterday? Corner by Maddison, drop of the shoulder, Van der Ven, boom, goal, 1-0. Finally, broke the deadlock. So, what were your thoughts at the time when the ball hit the back of the net?
I think considering we had 10 men, it was going to take something like that to score a goal.
Yeah, something
and
different.
Maddison was going to be inevitably part of it, whether it was like the pass before the pass or the person scoring the goal from like a set piece or something like that. He was always going to be part of it, because at the end of the day, Maddison is one player, or one of the few players in our team right now that's almost irreplaceable. Maddison I think he's reveling in the fact that he's one of the main man even at Spurs right now. And it's shown by his personality and his body language and just everything really. And he's just stepping up. And I think that was just another example of him just stepping up again with another assist. And as for Van der Ven, I think he was my man of the match, and I think he fully deserved the goal. And I still think he's going to be one of the best centre-halves that ever plays for Spurs right now. So Yeah.
Love it. Love the positivity. Love it, Has. Long may that continue. Marlon, yeah, talk me through the goal and your reaction when the ball hit the back of the net.
I have to agree with Haz, and I can't believe I'm actually agreeing with the boy.
No.
No, it was going to take something special like that, and it was only going to come from Maddison. The
Yeah.
thing that's really worrying me though is, and I don't know what it is about all these set piece takers. There are other clubs, right? And they're able to take corners. As soon as they come to us, because Maddison's corners were very poor against Luton, and they have been poor for a couple of weeks, right? I think his free kick against Brentford was the last time he took a decent delivery, right? The only person that seems to get any corners for us was Perisic. But everyone else seems to come here and they just can't be able to take set pieces, because every time I think we were hitting the first man for every corner, and it was just they were heading it out. So it was kind of like, okay, here it is. But they finally took a short corner and they were inventive with it. And that's the bit that was different. And Luton just got caught off guard by that, because they're not, let's be honest, they're not used to playing against quality like that, where they're going to be a bit more imaginative about it. So it was a great goal. Mickey van der Ven deserves all the plaudits he can get, because it just puts Tim Sherwood in the mud, as they say, because, you know.
Absolutely.
And I think I heard today that someone, like a lot of people wrote him off before he'd even kicked the ball. Like, not Spurs fans, this was media, because they heard the way he defended and everything like that. But if you'd watched me and Ash when we did our thing on him, we both said he's going to settle into the Premier League, because, especially into Ange's system, because he's quick and he knows how to defend. And he's all right, he's sketchy in the air, don't get me wrong, but he has shown everything right now that he's quite good in the air as well. So
absolutely, I think you and Asthmatic are spot on, but no disrespect, but I stopped listening to anything that came out of Tim Sherwood's mouth, when he did say that things he said about Porro and Van der Ven. He got Wooden and he completely criticised Porro, but he hasn't said anything about either this season, which I find rather funny. But moving on, we're top of the league for 2 weeks. We're still unbeaten. The dream start, to life under Ange. We're all loving it, right? So I've got to put it out here. What exactly is achievable this season? What is the maximum that we can achieve? Pav, I'm going to start with you. Put you on the spot.
Well, if we carry on the way that we're going in a right direction, I reckon we'll get top 4. Now, there are a lot of people on Twitter that are thinking way too ahead and saying, oh, do you know what? Maybe we could, win the Prem or whatever. And I think, do you know what? It's rebuild season right now. Like Marlon, you said earlier, we're transitioning at the moment. We've got Ange, he's come in. We're doing really, really well. But thinking realistically, I don't think that we're going to keep it up and go a long, long time with being undefeated. There is going to be some point where we're going to have a dip. There might be some point that we have more injuries, right? So we can't get ahead of ourselves. But I think we are going in the right direction. We're doing well at the moment. We're playing good football. We're playing the Spurs way. But this is rebuild season. We are transitioning. We can't think too far ahead. And I think we just need to take it a game at a time at the moment, not think too ahead of ourselves. And I think potentially top 4, if I'm being honest, I reckon if we go in the right direction with the way that Andrew's going, top 4.
Okay, thank you, Pav. Chris, what exactly, and ask everyone the same question, what exactly is achievable this season, right? And what kind of date would it get to if we're still top of the league, where you start to think, can we do it?
We're going to win the double.
Why not?
I agree with pretty much what Pav says there. Top 4 for me is what we should be aiming for there. But let's see where we are in 10, 15 games' time. If we're still up there, then you can start thinking about a title challenge. And if we're up and thereabouts come January, then he's got to strengthen the squad. He's got to have a conversation with Postecoglou. What do you need for your squad? And then do it. But again, that is 3 months into the future, which it can all change. I do agree with Pav. I think we'll have some kind of dip. If we get injuries to either of the centre-backs, Maddison, maybe even Son, Vicario as well, do we have the squad there for that? I'm not sure. But yeah, I definitely think we've got to take the FA Cup seriously as well now. Certainly after the League Cup nonsense, which I'm still pretty annoyed
Hopefully,
about.
Ange learns from that. For me, Chris, sorry to interrupt. That's the only mistake. It's a big one as well. I know.
Yeah,
He made in his managerial career. So I'm hoping he learns from that. Right? In the FA
I
Cup.
think he will. I don't think he'll play a weakened team in the FA Cup unless we get a real minnow somewhere. But yeah,
I know what Marlon's going to say. Yes, I wasn't happy.
Do you want to jump in, Marlon? Do you want to jump in, Marlon? You don't look like you can.
No. It's Harry had to jump in there for a reason. That's why.
I knew what he was going to say. Go on, Grace.
Yeah, I think see where we are in 10, 15 games time. But in terms of the title, no one thought Leicester could sustain it. But
there you go.
Confidence is a very, very strange thing, is it? Leicester almost got relegated the season before. Bit of confidence, no European football, which will obviously help us. So you never know. Stranger things have happened. But yeah, I agree with Pav. I think we'll have a bit of a drop off. And I think that if we get injuries to those key players before January, before we get a chance to strengthen, I'm not sure we've got the players to cope. We do only have 2 league games in January when the African Cup of Nations is on. I thought it'd be more than that. It's 2 FA Cup weekends as well. So we are only missing 2 league games. Right.
Marlon, did you want to jump in?
No, go to Haz first.
There you go. The suspense. Yeah, Haz, I'm sorry, but I've got to throw it out there. I can't help myself. Can we do it?
Let's be realistic. It's not going to happen. But like, I think top four is like, I think way more than achievable, especially because we're playing 1 game a week. 100%. Now the problem at Tottenham is if Maddison and one of the centre halves get injured, we're going to be in a crisis. Because, like I said, we haven't tried anything different without Maddison to see what it's going to be like. And also at centre half, it's the one position where I think if one of them goes, we're in trouble. Whilst if you look at our fullbacks, if one of the fullbacks goes, we could probably cope as long as the other 3 are fit. So, unfortunately, at Tottenham, every year we have an 11, but after that, we don't have anything else. And if you want to do a sustainable title challenge, you need actual like depth and quality to bring on the bench. Right now, our bench, everyone keeps saying it's not that great. If we look at the big games, okay, we've got results so far, but we are still very, very early. It's only 8 games in. But if we get to the 31st of January, and we're still within, say, like, I don't know, say 5-6 points on top, whether we're, say we're 3rd or something, and we actually go out and buy 3-4 players. Like, I'm talking about good, top quality players. Like, they're looking at Jota from you spoke about Celtic, and like a centre half and like a left back. Then I'll be saying maybe something different. Yeah.
Really? Justify your answer. I'm very surprised.
Udogie shouldn't be playing every single week.
Surely that's what Davies is sitting on the bench for, and
Davies isn't good enough. Neither is Dyer. That's the whole point of signing a centre half and a left back to get rid of him.
But I think we can all, whatever you think of Davies, I think he has done a good job when he stepped in this season, though, right?
And to be fair, he done a great job on Saturday against Luton when he came on, because if you notice, Destiny was leaving him a lot of gaps, and as soon as Ben Davies came on, the gaps stopped. And Dyer, I agree with, but the Ben Davies, he scored against United, and now he's not going to be the left back if Destiny gets injured, he's not going to be the left back we want to come in. Totally agree with you. But for someone to come on,
as much as I don't like Emerson, at least he's somewhat tolerable for like on the right for like 2 or 3 games. Yeah. With Davies, I think I have more worries because at least Emerson showed, and I'm not saying Emerson's the answer, by the way. I still want him to go on in the summer. At least he showed in the first game he can contribute in that system in some way.
No, I agree with you.
But with Davies, I think his time is more than past.
But do you not think that with Davies, that if he wants to change, like let's take Saturday as a prime example, right? And where we've gone to 10 men, and we can't be as open as we wanted to be, right? He's put Davies on. And it literally, they just weren't getting through. They literally weren't. They had to put crosses in. We would get winning them and everything like that. So for a job like that, where we are going to have our backs against the wall, do you not think Davies is probably the best option we've got, or a better option than going out buying a left back that's like Destiny? That if Royal
it doesn't have to be like Destiny. It's just,
but it's got to be, because you're asking for Destiny not to play.
Yeah, you can't play every week.
Yeah, so you're gonna need a left back who's like this, because you don't want to stop playing your football.
Surely you can tell Destiny or this new left back just to play further back.
But it doesn't work like that, because Destiny should have done that at the weekend and he couldn't. He just couldn't do it. like, let's be honest, he was probably told that, but because of the way he thinks, and he's a
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's the only thing behind it.
I think Davies' time is up.
I think these players can play every week because it is every week. It's not 2 games in a week, so you've got 6 days recovery time. Obviously, injuries and suspensions, and if we do get far in the FA Cup, then obviously there will be probably a weekday game there. But in terms of Davies, I think like Marlon says, you need versatility in the positions. You need someone who can go bomb down the wing like a Destiny. You need someone who can hold. Put my teeth back in. Someone who can shore it up defensively when we need to in games where we've got a narrow lead and we're under a bit of pressure. And Davies hasn't really ever done anything wrong, has he? He's never been a 10 out of 10 every game. He's always been a dependable 6 or 7 out of 10.
I think
you very rarely have a stinker Davies performance.
I just don't think you're going to win the league with Ben Davies, isn't it?
Hold on. You don't think we're going to win the league anyway?
Yeah, I know, but you're guys telling me that we're going to go for the title. So I'm just telling you, these are 2 players, Davies and Dyer, ain't the answer. So you need to go out and buy better players.
Yeah, but there's more players than that in the squad that we're not going to win the title with.
What I would say is
because those 2 positions are like
last comment
position in the back line.
Yeah.
What I would say is Leicester won the league with Wes Morgan, who is one of the worst defenders I've ever seen in my life, and he won a Premier League. So if the system is the system is there, then players can adapt because players need simplicity sometimes.
They do. I think Leicester have done the unthinkable.
I think let's be honest, Leicester will never happen again.
No, and Leicester can't really happen this year because the reason why Leicester actually won the league that year. Right, and we'll all have to be completely honest. Man City rebuild, Liverpool rebuild, Arsenal rebuilding, Chelsea were rebuilding. We weren't even being considered that year because that was Poch's second season, and it just happened to be we clicked.
Second season,
You're not. That's to be honest. That's not happening this year. Arsenal are clicking, Man City are clicking. Everyone's clicking. We're gonna have to be like extraordinary.
And Leicester are in the Championship, so it can't happen. It's just
it can't happen this year. But Marlon, you still dodged the question. What is achievable this season? Nice try.
My Disney princess head says, "Look, we can win the league." Right? I'll say it. The Disney princess in me said, "I'm going to dream until it's mathematically over." That's me, right? But I thought but the realism in me. The one that goes, this is Daniel Levy's football club, goes, it's going to be 4th for nothing. But 4th is more better than I thought we were going to start the season with. So I'm happy. I'm happy either way. But I love Ange. Even if Ange finishes 8th, I still want Ange, right? And that's where I'm at. The way he's got this, the way he's turned the team around and everything like that. There's going to be a dip. I just hope all the people that are going for the title stick with Ange and don't get too upset.
Let's hope so.
I think the way that we've started.
The only person that will let him down is Daniel Levy anyway. So
yeah, I've said that from day one.
I mean, last time we were in position, I'd mentioned about 6 points off the top or something was back in 2012, and then Levy showed us what he really wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true. There's only one person.
Let's see when we get to January. I think January is a massive, massive time. But I'm going to go around the houses, and I just want a one-word answer. Again, I'm going to put you all on the spot, and then go in a different order, so to throw you all out. I want your man of the match, please. So starting with you, since you're not ready, Marlon. Who's your man of the match?
Vicario.
Vicario.
Yeah, because he's proven me wrong, and he's shored up the defense. Like
I remember you slagging him off. Yeah.
Do you remember I slagged him off?
I do. Yeah. One of many things you got wrong, but at least you can admit it. So some can't.
To be honest, the only thing I got wrong.
Well, we'll see about that. But I can't say, but we'll see. At least you admitted it.
I'm still got doubts for Vicario personally, but that's just me.
That is just you. So I'm going
I don't think he's commanding for crosses, man. He doesn't come out on corners.
Since you said that, you're going last now. I disagree. Say that.
It's a Spurs fan in training of you has.
Well,
you're trained to be negative and everything's
I think we could have got someone better.
Harry said one-word answers. He let me have my answer. Let him carry on, all right?
All right, mate.
Yeah, stop getting involved.
Interrupted. He's going to wait to the end.
You can argue another time, right?
One word. Brad, one word answer. Who's your man of the match?
I was going to say Mickey van der Ven.
Okay, that's the obvious one. Goal scorer. Started the season excellently and formed a good partnership with Romero. I think that's completely justified. Who's your man of the match? One word.
Mickey van der Ven.
Mickey van der Ven as well. Okay, fair enough. Chris, do you have anything different? Or you go with Van der Ven or Vicario?
Ben Davies. No, I'm joking. I think Romero for me. I think
Yeah,
just
really good.
last season he'd have gone herring out at someone, taken their leg off, got a sending off, and he's just everything is calm with him now. He's yeah, just I think he's a completely different player. The vice captaincy, I think, has really matured him as well. Winning a World Cup, Messi saying he's the best defender in the world. Van der Ven's the obvious choice because he scored the goal as well. But I think Romero was just
absolutely spot on. Now, a lot of people have been looking forward to this. We're going to discuss Richarlison, and very quickly give my thoughts. I think people have been extremely harsh, and it annoyed me that I had to take to Twitter as well today, or X as it's now called. I think there's a massive overreaction for someone who's got 2 assists and a goal in their last 3 games. That's a stat I'm going to use for a long time. I thought Sheffield United, he done really well, came off the bench, scored and got an assist. Liverpool, I thought, was probably his best performance of the season as well. Great assist. And I think Luton, I thought he looked good. He just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Yes, he should take his chances. But you look at Marlon yesterday, you look at any top striker, they miss chances. And this Spurs team creates chances. So there's also going to miss a lot of chances.
I'm using Marlon as an example. I told you.
I am using Marlon.
Marlon, Harry Kane used to miss a hatload of chances. What did you just say anything then?
Yeah.
Wait,
what did Harry Kane do? What did Harry Kane do?
Harry Kane played 90 minutes every game and started up front every game. Where's Richarlison playing, mate?
He scored goals.
Where's Richarlison playing? How many minutes has Richarlison played?
He scored goals. How many goals has Richarlison
How many minutes has
scored last year?
Richarlison played?
How many goals he got this year? How many goals he got this year? 1?
Huh?
1.
Right.
Yeah,
He's
because
got
he's playing in the middle.
Has
Oh,
a
wow,
Marlon.
that's magic, isn't it? He's playing in the
He's got
middle and he scored a goal.
You're both being muted for now because I warned you and you would not listen to take that. Right, I was introducing, that was what I was going to say. Marlon, you can't interrupt this time, nice try. Manchester City, if you watch them for 90 minutes, they do miss a lot of chances. And I am going to make that comparison. So, Pav, thank you for waiting, unlike some. Do you think Richarlison is the man? Can he do it?
No. I'm sorry. I really have to be really negative now. Look, right. Okay, yes, he doesn't deserve all the slander or whatever, but realistically,
No, he
he's
doesn't.
not the man.
Is January important to you? Do you think he's signed a top striker?
Huh? Sorry?
Sorry, my bad. Do you think January should go out there and sign a top striker?
Yeah, I think we should. To be honest, I said this at the beginning anyway. I didn't think that he was going to be the man for it. I think a lot of people are putting pressure on him. Oh, he could be the man, whatever. He's not going to be that man. Like, you could tell anyway when he came in. And yes, we've given him enough time now. I feel like we've given him a lot of time to kind of get in the team. And I think it's not right now. And I've heard on Twitter that he wasn't that great in the game. Now, I've not watched it, so I can't say how he was playing. But if it's a continuous cycle, there's no point because he's literally not. It seems like he's not fitting into the team, right? And we need someone that can, and we need someone that's going to bring the goals.
Sorry to interrupt, Pat, but a lot of people like myself in particular would go out there and say that last season he didn't actually play that much, and when he did, perhaps it wasn't in his preferable position. And this season, I think there's signs of improvement, but would you agree or disagree with that?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm not going to sit here and say he's not made improvements because he has compared to last season, right? And he didn't get a lot of game time. Conte didn't give it to him. But that being said, he's still not right for us, right? How much time can we realistically give to him? We can't give him a lot of time because if we're just going to rely on him and then say, oh, F it, we're not going to buy someone in the January window, we're just going to rely on him. I don't think that's the right way to go about it because I don't think he can do it. I feel like there was one game, I can't remember what game it was, that he actually came off from the bench. I think it was the one that he came off from the bench and he scored a goal. I'll give it to him. He was good with that. But I feel like starting off the game, I just don't think it's right. And I genuinely don't think he's the right man for it. But I'm not trying to
That's all right.
be mean or whatever, right? I'm just being realistic here because I don't think he's going to be great for us.
That's fine. I mean, I think a good.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think a good impact player as well is really important. Someone who comes off the bench, Sheffield United, gets a goal, an assist, and ultimately turns 0 points into 3 points. So there you go. Chris, give me your very brief thoughts on Richarlison. Where do you stand at the moment with it?
Yeah, I'm slightly different. I quite like Richarlison, and
So do
he
I.
does need to get some goals, otherwise it will be a constant conversation. But Liverpool, the first goal, he could have easily snatched that. He needs a goal. He was in the box. He could have easily snatched that. He just put it on a
very
plate
unselfish.
Yeah, put it on a plate for Son. He could have easily snatched that and whacked someone in the nose in row Z. But in terms of he was. They all say, don't they, top strikers, the time to worry is when you're not getting the chances. He's getting the chances. At one point, they will go in. But his best football has been when he's a number 9 for Brazil, when he was a number 9 at Everton, and he was the main man. And
he wasn't a number 9 at Everton.
He was in that season when
Calvert-Lewin
was.
Oh, not this discussion again.
Here we go again with the excuses.
Right, listen.
He played on the
I spent last night and even looked it up. That when Calvert-Lewin was injured, he did play in that number 9 position. When Calvert-Lewin
kept Everton up, like
yeah,
come
he didn't
on,
play in the number 9.
Yeah.
Regardless, number 9 or not, he was the main man at Everton there. So
yeah, when he kept Everton up, that little season, that little few months, he was number 9.
Yeah, but he didn't. But Everton weren't great in all those games.
He still scored like that's a 1 in 3.
But
Marlon,
saying they're not great. So
but how many goals? His best season
go down.
What's his best season been with goals? 7, 8. If that's enough,
this was
really. But then he's playing at Watford and Everton, mate. I don't know what you're expecting. You're supposed to get 20.
Yeah, but now he's playing at Spurs and he's still not scoring goals.
Because he's not playing in the middle most of the time anyway.
Because it's not good enough.
What? He's not playing in the middle.
Here we go again.
He's a goal scorer. I don't understand you. You make no sense.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Would you, if in our best 11 right now, would he start for you? If we're going to
play him, no, let me finish. If we're going to play him,
depends on the opponent.
Strength, then play him in the middle.
But he's never going to play in the middle when Son's banging in 7 goals, is he? So he's always going to be played in a makeshift position. So Kulusevski's position is set because I think he's played pretty well. Son is going to be the striker. Then who do you play? Do you play Richarlison? Do you play Johnson? Do you play Valise and move Son out?
I think if you look at Son's legs, I don't think it's fixed that he's going to start.
Listen, I don't think you can really answer that question because it really does depend on the injuries and the opponents and the game. So and the moment of the match as well. So for me,
and there's no point in putting him up front and then playing. And then look, I look back at players like, okay, let's go back to old Spurs strikers like Defoe, Keane.
Chris is spot on.
Are you really gonna play long balls to Defoe and Keane? Like, let's be honest, yeah. But if it was someone like Richarlison or Canute or like Peter Crouch, are we gonna say Peter Crouch back in the day would have been good if we playing the ball on the floor to him? No.
Okay, so the next question is, does Ange play that way? And it's going to be
if you're going to play that striker, you have to play that way.
So every manager needs an impact sub, though. To be
all I read about Ange Marlon is that he's willing to adapt his tactics, right? So go and adapt your tactics, mate. If you're going to play Richarlison, adapt your tactics. It's not that difficult. Just tell the players to cross it high.
And which one of them can cross?
Teach them how to cross. What's the whole point of the training ground?
But this is what I'm saying. You're saying to go teach them how to cross, but they can't cross. Let's take that Liverpool game. No, let's take that Liverpool game. Not one of them could put the ball in the box.
So what are we going to do? We're going to say Richarlison's a bad player because the other players can't cross to him.
But that's not the way Ange wants to play either. So you're sitting there going to keep a guy that Ange he can't play Ange's football because you want him to.
You can. It's not that difficult. You just adapt. It's not that difficult.
Okay. Valise will be in this team quicker than Richarlison. Trust me.
I doubt it.
Let the goals do the talking, and let Ange Postecoglou, who's the manager at the end of the day.
Talking, yeah.
We'll regret if we sell Richarlison. We'll regret it. Watch. If we sell,
I think so because I think you need an impact player.
Like we regretted Soldado, yeah.
But if we can get,
it's not Soldado and Richarlison is a very different situation. I'm sorry.
It's really not.
It's very, very different.
It's really not. Trust me, because
two different players.
For me, Richarlison last season was better right off.
Yeah, I agree. Last year.
So there's no point in saying, give him more. Don't give him any more time because last season basically doesn't even count. This is his first time. He's probably given a proper chance to Tottenham, if I'm being honest. Yeah, and he's got a goal and 2 assists.
Let's take this. 5, 13, 13, 7, 10. That's what you're relying on.
I
But
thought you
also,
said
you
he's
look
five
at
foot
the
seven,
clubs he
Marlon.
was playing at, Marlon.
No,
Because, and the reason I bring this up, you look at Son's goal return before he went to Tottenham was very low.
But that
But no,
doesn't matter.
no, because you can relate that and say
Yeah.
now he's playing with better players. Son's
Final
scoring more
comments on
goals.
this.
Yeah, the Son's
Yeah,
proven
and the
himself
team
that he
is
can
literally
go.
based around Son, right?
That's the
We're
one.
playing our football to base it around Son.
Oh, so then why
Maddison's balls
So
are
why
like
keep
through balls to
Richarlison then?
Son to
Why
tap
keep
in,
Richarlison?
literally.
If everything's based on Son and he's the one going to play, why play Richarlison? Because we're not gonna play that way.
You can't play Son every game. Son's legs are going, mate.
I
Like, he's gonna
agree.
be
I
finished in
agree.
I think when we
But
have your
Richarlison's not the
rotation is
answer.
important.
he could be the answer. If you don't try
He's
him out,
not.
how you don't know if it's not the answer or not?
We can see Brentford. He played up top. He was awful, right? He's gone to Brazil. He was awful, right?
He was awful for Brazil. Did you
He
not watch
was.
the World Cup?
Yeah, the World
Did you not
Cup.
watch the World
He
Cup?
played. Yeah, he played one good game where he
No,
scored.
he didn't. He scored like so many goals for Brazil in
That's
the World
harsh.
Cup, mate.
Brazil were horrible in the World Cup. Absolutely horrible.
So
They
doesn't
were.
that make it better that he scored a few goals then?
What, against one team?
Do you not
But
think
listen,
as well?
listen,
Do you not think as well
yeah.
that the issues that he's had, the off the field issues, if you drop him now,
Yeah.
it's going to make him fall even further down into a bad hole. You've got to. I don't know when it is
What
that
do
you
you
say,
do?
okay,
Chris?
enough is
What
enough.
do you do?
but-
What do you do?
Play to
Because
his strengths.
if you keep playing him, let's be honest. If you keep playing him and he keeps producing what he produced on Saturday and can't finish, right? He's like, for me, he's still gonna have a mental breakdown because that's what happened against Brazil. He was missing chances after chances, and he come out and said his head's not in the right space. So what do you do? Do you just keep
Personally, I
playing
don't think it
him?
has to do
Maybe
with
the
football.
answer then
I don't
is
think-
to take him
personally, I
out
don't think his
for
head in the
a
right
few
space has anything to do
weeks
with
and-
football. Personally, I don't think. It will.
Right.
So do you have to?
That's-
So what do? Do you take him out for a few weeks, right? But then look at what happened against
That's what I
Sheffield
thought he
United.
was going to do.
But
when
you
I heard
put
that
him in.
mental
But
stuff,
if
we put him in,
you
he
take him out
scored.
for what do you do in this situation? Because if he's mentally not there, right? Let's be honest. What do you do? Because if you're going to play him every week and he's going to miss chances, are you just not making it
Well,
worse?
you just assuming he's going to miss chances every single week.
Because that's what he's proven this season. He's missed a lot of
We
chances.
played how many games?
8,
How many is he
9.
starting in the middle?
Yeah,
Like 2?
3. If you include the cup,
Exactly. Son started.
and he was
5.
awful in the cup. He scored, but he was awful. But I allowed him because he scored. If you're going to be
Right,
awful,
and we
you've got to
are
score.
now moving on. This is a discussion that can go on for any moment of any day, and we will let the goals do the talking, and we will let the starting 11s do the talking. You're muted, Marlon. Nice try. Nobody can hear you. So yeah, we are going to be moving on. I love how people forget they're muted. But yeah, we are going to move on, and because I want to kind of go round and ask questions. So Pav, I'm going to come back to you. You haven't said anything for a while. I didn't get a chance. So with the international break coming up, I want to ask this question because it's really, really interesting one actually. Do you think it's a good or bad thing for Spurs? Because obviously we've got injuries to the likes of Johnson and not for Sonny and Maddison. Do you think it's a good thing to give them time to recover, or do you think it's a bad thing because we are building momentum and getting performances and results?
Personally, I think it's a bad thing, and I think especially because Son is going to be playing now, I think that's a bit of a worry, and especially because these games are friendlies, they're not really anything. It's a bit concerning. I'm worried because international break tends to be the time where our players pick up injuries, and I think it's a bit annoying. But that being said, the break could do good to some of our team. So I'm just going to take it as we've got to see how it comes and hope and pray that we don't get any injuries come back.
Yeah, hopefully you're spot on. And Chris, do you think the international break is a good or bad thing for Spurs?
Oh, it's a waste of time, isn't it? When it's free, isn't it?
I mean, I don't like it. It's horrible, isn't it, really?
I think the injuries that we've got at the moment, generally, I know there's knocks to Son and Maddison, but they have got a week off. But the rest of the injuries aren't first 11 players. So if we don't have the international break, they aren't going to play. You can always pick up an injury in training, I guess.
Solomon and Perisic, Solomon and Johnson not first team players for you?
Johnson, I'm not sure. And Solomon is a 50-50. He started playing some games, didn't play others. I do like Solomon, I have to say. And Johnson, a bit too early for him. He didn't do a huge, great deal against Arsenal, but then I think he'll come good. But I mean, it is a good thing in the sense that we get all of those players who have got short-term injuries back. Perisic and Solomon won't be, and Bentancur won't be, but Johnson, Sessegnon, although Sessegnon, I'm sure, was born injured, so I can't imagine it's going to be a long time until he's injured again. But yeah, I like Pav says, I do worry about the Sonny not being rested when he needs to rest, Maddison with a knock if he plays, and Van der Ven, Romero, if they get injured, Vicario's in the Italy squad. Not sure if he'll play or not, but yeah, I always worry with international breaks just because you get a lot of injuries from them. And if we get injuries to key players, we could be in a bit of trouble.
We could indeed. Now you both called your argument, which is very interesting and full of debate. I mean, it's an interesting discussion. I mean, it might be answered in future weeks, but no. Do you think the international break is a good or bad thing? I mean, we all hate it, right?
Yeah, I think it's good for us fans because that Luton game was quite stressful. So a couple of weeks off mentally is not bad. Because that was probably the hardest watch of the season, if I'm being honest. And but as for like the players, I kind of with Chris in the sense that Solomon, I'm going to make a big statement here. I don't think he'll be here in 2 years. I don't think he's got it. Johnson, on the other hand, maybe give him time to come back, and I think Johnson might be used. So in that sense, a positive. I'd have to use Johnson in the next few games on the right or something on the left. But as for players getting injured, I think Maddison for me is the biggest one. I don't know if Van der Ven's going to under 21 duty. Do you know if he's going at all?
No, I haven't heard anything to Holland.
Did he get called up?
He got called up to Holland's full squad.
Oh, there you go.
He's someone we need to worry about. Romero as well, someone we need to worry about. Any of the defenders is someone we need to worry about. And also Maddison. So I just hope Maddison doesn't play for England and he just plays Jude Bellingham.
No, Southgate we're talking about has.
So he's the one I'm worried about the most, if I'm being honest. So it's positive in the sense that we might get some players back, but it's negative in the sense that we might, because you know what Tottenham's like, some get.
Yeah, very true. Thank you. Marlon, do you reckon it's a positive or a negative thing?
It's the international break. We'll see who comes back and go from there.
You're dodging the question.
I just don't have an opinion on the international break and where our players go, if I'm being honest. It's just one of them. If they come back injured, it's likely they'll get injured in the season. Yeah. So, but with Maddison, I think I've already said, look, thank God he's gone away with Gareth Southgate because he ain't going to play him. And someone made a great point today. Well, I've made it in the past. He won't play for England.
Of course you have. Funny that. Go on.
No. Harry, he won't play for England because most of the spaces, and as you saw in the last game that he played for England, most of the spaces that he's picking up now and he's doing great in is all the spaces that Harry Kane was in last year. So he's not going to play.
Okay. Fair enough. There you go. I'm going to go around the houses again, and I want a very, very just a number this time actually, because that is how many points will we get from our next 3 Premier League fixtures. After the international break, I could go in any single order, and you could be put on the spot anytime. Chris, you're going to go first. So Fulham at home, Crystal Palace away, then Chelsea at home are our next 3 fixtures, not in order. So how many points are we going to get from those 3?
Home games, I can see us winning. Palace is always a tricky one, so
just a number.
I'll go Haslers and be negative and say 7.
I don't think that's necessarily negative. Pav, how many points are we going to get?
I'm going to agree with Chris, and I'm going to say 7 as well. I think Crystal Palace away is going to be tough, but I think Chelsea's going to be a good game. It's going to be a very toxic game, but it's going to be a good one. And then Fulham at home as well. It's going to be a great one. So, but positivity, 7.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, still means we're undefeated, right? Marlon, how many points are we getting from our next 3 games?
6.
6. Oof. Oh, so what is that? Potentially 2 wins and 1 loss? Well, we guess we'll find out. Ouch, that hurts. Hopefully it's not a Chelsea game. Give me how many points you think you're going to get for the next 3 games? Bit more
I hate to say it, so I must agree with Marlon. 6. I think we're going to lose to Palace on Friday night. I think we're losing to Palace on Friday night.
Yeah. I'm also going to go with 7 points, to be fair, be realistic. I think that we beat Fulham, no disrespect, Barney, quite comfortably, 3 points at home. And I think we'll either win against Chelsea or Palace, and the other one we draw. So, it's just which one for me anyway. That is. But yeah, actually, before we do move on again, I'm going to go around the houses. I want your score prediction for the Fulham game. So, Haz, again, I'm going to put you on the spot. Your score prediction for what? Full night's time against Fulham?
3-2.
3-2 to us?
Yeah, to us, obviously, yeah.
That's a relief. That's a big relief. Marlon, what's your prediction?
I'll go 2-1.
2-1 Tottenham? You got to specify.
Yeah.
Got to specify.
I don't think that's not our defeat. That's not our defeat. Yeah.
Not a defeat. It shouldn't be a defeat. Yeah. Fair enough. Chris?
3-1 Spurs, I think.
Yeah, I'm also going 3-1. Pav?
2-1.
2-1. Okay. Love the positivity, Barney, and anyone else in the chat get involved in the comments. Chris, listening live on YouTube, reckons 3-1 as well. Yeah, that's a common one I've seen as well going around today. So also I want to touch on the news today, and that is Spurs announced this evening that Johan Lange has been appointed technical director with immediate effect from the 1st of November. I didn't expect this to come, especially not today. So Pav, correct me if I'm got wrong, but I think you have to go shortly. So give me your thoughts on this news this evening.
Yeah, so when I saw it, I was like, who? But then I've done a little bit of digging, and I've seen that he's been at Aston Villa, and I've seen that he's been part of the signings of Martinez, Watkins, and Matty Cash. So great signings. So that's positive to see, and hopefully, fingers crossed, he does some good business with us. Can't speak too soon because obviously we've not seen anything just yet. But looking back at what he's done so far at previous clubs, that's decent.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree with you. Chris, do you have anything extra to say about this bit of news? Because obviously his reputation is good, right?
Yeah, well, I didn't even see this, so you saying it is breaking news for me. But
there you go, breaking news, live and exclusive on the Scarfy's First Look podcast. Go on.
In terms of what Pav said with the players in his history, is all very good. But as we know, if he can do his job, he'll be fine and do well. But if Daniel Levy decides that actually it's his job, doesn't really matter who we get as technical director, but if he's allowed to do his job like he did at Villa with scouting other players, and then they go and get the players, and they're a good team at the moment, then we've got a really good technical director on his hand. But
yeah. I mean, the recruitment's been fantastic at Villa.
It depends on what Daniel Levy decides he's allowed to do, and unfortunately for me.
Yeah, Marlon, give me your thoughts on this, because he has a good reputation at Villa. His recruitment's been good.
Do you know, I find it quite funny. If we had said about 10 months ago, right, with Villa, if Villa weren't doing well now, a lot of us would have probably said, especially with the recruitment and the managers that they've had, that actually the players he brought in are not that good. But Unai Emery has proved that Ollie Watkins can actually play football. So you know what? It all depends on the manager and the players he brings in.
Because it's very true.
Because Martin, like the players that he's brought in, I wouldn't say are absolutely great. They're okay, but it's all going to depend on if, like I said, Unai Emery came in and made these players look good. But look at Gerrard and the managers they've had before; they made them look terrible. So it swings and roundabouts. We'll see what happens.
Very true. For me, Villa's best recruitment has been this season. Yeah, the signings of Diaby. I think
Emery, isn't it? It's because Emery's getting the best out of them.
It's Emery's influence. And I'm not being funny, but I think that Villa are potentially a top 4 threat, with us. Why Unai Emery's at the top. The day he steps away,
that's what I said. Yeah, but and that's what I'm saying. 10 months ago, we would have looked at all of them signings and probably gone. So so we just have to take. I just take look. As long as Postecoglou wants them, it's all good for me. That's
absolutely. I mean, Villa at risk of going down under Gerrard. That's why he lost his job in the end.
And all them players were there. So, and that's what you have to look at. All them players were there and not performing. So, anyone could bring in good players. They've just got to perform for the manager, haven't they?
I completely agree with that. It's a very sensible way of looking at it, actually. Yeah, Haz, what do you make of this news? Do you agree with Marlon?
I think it's a good appointment because the past 10 months, or even I can even look back even before that. I think Villa have been recruiting very well over the past few years. Obviously, when Grealish was sold, they already had a plan to bring in players. They do have a structure at Villa, and I think obviously Emery arriving when he did has kind of lifted them up even at a higher level than I kind of expect them to, in terms of attracting obviously more players now. They've got Emery, like the Pau Torres. I don't think he would have gone to Villa if Emery wasn't there. But this guy, obviously, I think he'll make a difference. As Chris said, if he is allowed to do his job, he'll make a difference. If not, we'll be talking about another Paul Mitchell situation probably in like 2 years.
Well, we'll find out. So now moving on to the questions that people put forward for the podcast on Twitter this morning. So there's quite a few. Chris, I'm going to give the first one to you from Ben. You did point it out earlier. That is to do with Mickey van der Ven. Ben says, from Ben Will Talk to Tottenham, says, if you could rate Mickey van der Ven's start to Spurs out of 10, what would it be and why?
I'd go 8. I mean, a lot of people probably say 10 out of 10 because he hasn't put a foot wrong. But
yeah,
he's still learning the Premier League, isn't he? Like Marlon said, he's taken to it like a duck to water, but there's still improvement there, I think. And the partnership with Romero and Vicario as well, like Marlon said as well. The defence for me isn't just the back four; it's the goalkeeper as well, and that can only get stronger. And if you can add the heading is probably only the weak part of his game that I've seen, but he's getting better. But I think that can improve. So I'll say 8. But been absolutely fantastic, isn't he? But I mean, I could probably be a better defender than Eric Dyer, I think. I can't run anymore, but Van der Ven has been brilliant. I don't think I expected it to be as good a partnership in less than 10 games as it has been. But it can only get better. Let's just hope that he doesn't get injured.
Yeah, I hope his form continues at the moment, because he's acting like at the moment a real world-class centre back, along with Romero and Vicario in terms of goalkeeper as well. So they keep this up. Then you talk about team for the season, top players. You see the likes of Saliba yesterday get talked about. For me, Van der Ven already has got to be in that conversation. The next question is for Barney. I know sticking around in the chat. So Barney, listen to your answer. I'm going to give to Haz. Barney says, is top 4 now a realistic target, and would you be happy with it?
Yeah, it's realistic. Would I be happy with it? Well, it's year 1. I'll be happy in the sense that Andrew's done well, but will we push on when we finish top 4? That's questionable.
Well, we'll have to see, I guess. Pav, I'm going to give you
Levy's history shows that we make top 4 and we just try to consolidate the spot rather than pushing on to the football club.
Could I just say on that as well? If in 20 games time, if we're still in the title race and we finish 4th, I'll be furious.
Very, very true. I mean, even although I know it's a good achievement, it hurts to think of the thought that we dropped 3 places at the moment. But obviously, top 4 would be a good achievement. But
for me, it's like Pav said earlier: one game at a time. If you're Man City, you're thinking about winning the title from the first game. But for us, one game at a time. See where it takes us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think with us, right, is whether we get the opportunity and we take it. That's what it is. If we get the opportunity, if we get to January and we still win it, then you take the opportunity, go out and buy some players. But if you're not, then there
you go. Exactly. Pav, I'm going to give the next question to you from Ben again, who says, where do you think we'll be in the league? I know you don't want to get carried away, but come to get through the Christmas period, what's your prediction where we are in the league?
I think we will be within the top 4. I'm not going to get ahead of myself, right? Because I just don't want to think too far ahead.
Again.
Like I said, I'm taking one game at a time, and I think we've just got to see how it goes. And I've said this already. I reckon we're going to have a dip at some point. I don't know when, but I know we will. It's going to happen at some point. Whether it's soon or whether it's after Jan, who knows? But I reckon. Because we're playing really good football at the moment, and like the players, they've been showing up, and we've been playing like a team, right? Playing together. If we continue that way, I reckon we will be within the top 4 come December.
Might be on mute, Haz.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Harry on mute. He's muted himself. Look at that. Rookie mistake as host. Rookie.
Harry, we can't hear you, Harry.
Can't hear you, Harry.
Harry, we can't hear you. After Harry. Can't hear you.
You have to go out his own stream, I think.
You've upset him, Marlon. You've made him quit his own show.
I I do that to everybody right now. I blame Haz, to be fair. And Barney, don't thank Haz. He's an idiot.
just like you speak sense and
He can't mute you two now. You can say whatever you want about
Yeah.
Arsenal or anything.
Round two, are you ready for round
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You hear me now?
Yeah, we can
Yeah,
hear
I can hear you now.
Thank you. It was not a rookie mistake. It was my internet. Thank you very much. But yeah, the show must go on, as we say. Really, it didn't go on without me. Let's forget that way. But Marlon, I'm going to come back to you. Question from Finn says, how many points would be realistic out of our next 5 games? Can't speak today. Our next 5 games are Fulham at home, Palace away, Chelsea at home, Wolves away, and Aston Villa at home. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Do you know what? What was the question? I didn't totally miss that. How many points do you think we'll get?
No, you weren't listening, were you? How many points are you going to get for our next 5 games? Do you want me to repeat those 5?
No. I know who they are now. So I've said 6, obviously, from the first 3. Villa and Wolves.
Yeah,
I think we'll beat Wolves. And I think we'll beat Villa. The only I've got this strange feeling.
Yeah.
Our bubble's going to burst and our dream's going to end of the no defeats against Watch, unfortunately. I've just got this feeling. I've just got this strange feeling. It's the only game I'm seriously more worried about as the weeks go on. I get Palace. I think
I'm worried about Palace away than Chelsea.
I think we'll beat after watching Palace and the way they play. I think we'll beat them.
They look alright this season.
Yeah, they do, but I just think Spurs will have to.
You're above Chelsea, so
don't they play? They'll play a low block against us, Palace, though.
Yeah, and that's
completely.
Yeah.
Chelsea come out and play.
But I just got.
That game's a fiery match, Chelsea.
Because Chelsea have got Arsenal as well, didn't they, before us.
Chelsea, Arsenal, and then they got another game. And,
I think they'll beat us and Arsenal.
Let's hope you're wrong. Let's hope.
And they'll lose that game in between.
Wow, we'll find out. Chris, I'm going to give you the last question from Thomas. Thomas says, what kind of players do you think we can get in January if we have the money and still near the top? If we can make some big signings in key positions, do you believe that we could be in the title fight? So basically, if Levy really backs Andrew the January transfer window, can we go out there and do the unthinkable?
Well, I think we need a striker. Gift Orban, I think, is if we're after him and serious about him, I think we'd get him. But yeah, whether he's good enough or not, I'm not sure. The problem with getting a striker at Spurs is they're always being compared to someone who's our record goals.
Yeah.
Always being compared. And as soon as they don't score the hatful of goals, they're a bit of a flop because Harry was so good. But we definitely need a striker. I don't think we need to do a huge amount with the first 11. I think what we need to do is strengthen up in depth. So if one of the top 11 goes out, then we've got ready-made replacements coming in. So certainly in a centre-back situation, certainly I think we need another Maddison-type player. If Maddison gets injured, we need someone to come in who can just play the passes and everything like he can. It all depends where we are in January. If we're in a title race come January, I think Ange can realistically say, I want this person and expect that person to come in.
And
if we tailed off in 5th, Levy will say, Champions League, work with what you got. If we get the money in, then you can have the players you want. But I mean, Ange has, in my mind anyway, earned the right to get the players he wants in January. But I think we need a striker, centre back, and another Maddison type player in January, just for the strength and depth for me.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Can I just
wrap it up?
I think me, you, and Haz actually had a great conversation on Saturday about this, and I think we're spot on. Right? No, I think we're all spot on, and I think so. The problem we've got in January that we're going to have is you're either going to have to sign a player who's got last 6 months of his contract, or he's not playing because they want to go. Is it the Euros next year? That's the only two. The only two we're going to realistically get in January. Right, Gift Orban has been absolutely awful since the transfer window closed, by the way, as well. So all of us going, oh my God, go sign Gift Orban. Actually, if you look at his form it's been absolutely awful. He hasn't replicated that since. So I think at the present moment, that's what we're realistically looking at. And is that what we want? That's the big question. And is that what Ange needs?
Do you reckon it'll be Tony? Because he wants to leave, doesn't he? But
He's
they have slapped an £80 million price tag on him, and he's going to take a little time to get back, isn't he? Because I think it's middle of January he can start playing again. So
It's the game against us that he can come back.
I think he's going to go to Arsenal anyway, Tony. So
yeah, he's
right. So that is all the questions that people put forward on for the podcast earlier on Twitter. So thank you very much. Before we wrap up, though, I do want to touch on some very sad news that we got earlier this week, and that is the passing of Pete Hain. So just on behalf of myself and the channel here at Scarface Versal, just wanted to say devastated to learn of the passing, to wake up and find, obviously, after a 10-month battle with pancreatic cancer. So yeah, my thoughts are with his family at the sad time. I think that his work he done not only for the trust, but in and outside of football, mustn't go unrecognised. So any of you guys got anything to say about this?
No, just echo your sentiments, to be honest. Thinking of his friends and family. And
yeah, I think it's a very sad week for the club. I think so.
Agreed. Yeah, agreed.
I think that had to be mentioned. So yeah, thoughts with his family at the moment. But that kind of wraps us up for today's show. It's been a good one. It's been an interesting one. Full of debates, full of discussions.
I thought we were going to talk about
that is the only positive thing. We were going to talk about Kulusevski, but a certain two individuals took up a lot of airtime on Richarlison, and I didn't get through half of my plan.
I told you not to invite both of us on. I told you, right? On Saturday, I told you not to.
You did advise me. But there is always next time. If any of you want to come back, of course, will be penciled in. And yeah, Kulusevski, I think, has done really, really well. So we'll be discussed.
I thought Saturday was actually one of his best games of the season.
I do think so.
Let the man wrap up his show.
Yeah, I know. I've been very critical of him, like yourself has, but I thought Saturday he was very, very good. But yeah, thank you to all for tuning in. Thank you all for your questions. Thank you all subscribed. A lot of people have, and a lot of people have watched it. If you've listened after on any other podcast platform as well, massively, massively appreciated. But firstly and most importantly, let's go around to the house and see where we can find these wonderful guests. So, Pav, starting with you, where can people find you and talk to me about Paxton Road TV? I don't know why Marlon's laughing.
You can find me on Twitter at PavJo for all my reactions, previews, that sort of thing. And I am on Paxton Road TV as well. So you can find us on YouTube.
Fantastic. Go check out Pav and Paxton Road TV.
I think subscribe to that one, actually. Yeah, I think subscribe.
Yeah, there you go. Then make sure to do that. Chris, where can people find you and talk to me about Let's Talk Tottenham and what you've got planned for the rest of the season?
Yeah.
Sorry,
so I'm having a bit of a break at the moment from the live show, so it's just shorts at the moment. But it's Let's Talk Tottenham on YouTube, at L Talk Tottenham on Twitter, so you can find me there. But yeah, having a bit of a break on the live shows, but shorts will be going out as and when things happen, previews, reviews, and thoughts.
No worries.
Thanks again for having me on. Really, really good fun.
No worries. Thank you for coming on again, Chris. And don't forget to check out Let's Talk Tottenham and Chris's magic as well. I saw one the other day and really, really did enjoy that. And don't blame me taking a break. I mean, life is stressful, isn't it? As a Spurs fan, that Luton game represented that. We still don't live as stress-free.
We're winning as well, so if I don't do it and we carry on winning, I can't do it ever again.
Oh, there you go. There you go. We always seem to be on a stream, a podcast, a show together, right? The perfect double act, as I always like to say. So where can people find you next, apart from
apart from this channel? You can find on Marlon's channel as well on a Friday night as a previous show. I imagine that will change because we've got two games and one's on a Friday night and one's on the Saturday night. I think it's going to happen that week. I might have to do it on a Thursday, probably.
Yeah, you have to do it on a Thursday.
And then on my own channel, it has Spur TV. And you can tune in 2 weeks for round 2 on Southview's quiz.
So there you go. You go check out Haz as well on socials. Marlon, where can people find you individually and talk to me about, I have to get used to saying this, Southview quiz that I'm often on as well?
So YouTube wise, Southview Quiz, you've got Harry that obviously has Spur, does Friday nights with us. You've got Ashmatic and they do shows during the week as well. Tune in for them, not for me. Nobody ever tunes in for me. Tune in for those guys.
No, that is true, yeah.
Right. Especially don't tune into the match reactions when Harry's on as well and after the game, right? Because they're just useless. Waffling away. But no, on all serious note, right? As you could tell, we all know each other and that's why we argue argue and we get on
Sadly.
so well, right?
It's all
But-
love still, though, really.
But it's all love.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah, South
absolutely.
Uko's TV. Come over, tune in. We have a lot of different content, different people hosting as well.
You
It
do.
won't just catch me, right, being boring me. It will be others as well. So yeah, come over, have a laugh.
And see us argue for like 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, see us argue over stupidness for an hour and then realise we actually all agree with each other at the end.
There you go. So go check out all these guys on socials and their channels or a channel they're part of. But if you want to follow me, you can there, HarryScarf22 on all socials. But most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because that is massively appreciated. Notice a lot of people has, during today's show, so that is massively appreciated, as well. If you are listening on any other podcast platform, recently, Shush Marlon distracted me on Amazon Music or Spotify. Don't forget to give us a follow. What's he like, child? 5-star review and a follow. So yeah, I've been massively appreciated. And thank you for everyone who voted for me as well. So distracting for the football content awards. So yeah, looking forward to finding out the results on the 16th of November. Yes, a massive thank you to family, friends, etc. and everyone.
I've done it already, but when does it close?
Sorry, Has.
When does the voting close, or is it still open for your thing?
The voting closed Sunday midnight, and the results will be. I won't. You don't find out. Yeah, we don't find out, none of us, until the 16th of November, when everyone else finds out as well. So we're turning up on the night. Could be anywhere between 1st and 10th, but it's a privilege to be there. So many amazing people, and as well, different categories. You've got Lurch One on Spurs, Sava and Chris Cowlin there as well. So looking forward to meeting them all. So thank you very much. Massively appreciate it, guys. Top of the league for 2 weeks, right? Not joint top. You must get that right, because we scored more goals than Arsenal. I'm not having that. Someone told me that today in school, and I did not. It did not go down well. Put that right. But yeah, top of the league for 2 weeks. Loving Ange Ball. I'm loving Big Ange instead. But come on, you Spurs.
Come on,
Spurs.